3 questions that you might want to ask yourself to find your calling in life. Hey, it's Lenny Wennerstrom, sitting in my rocking chair. It was so blowy, I had to come inside. And what are we doing? I am helping you to find your purpose, and I'm using as a tool for that. Every single day I read a passage from Dr. Shad Helmstetter's book, 365 Days of Positive Self-Talk for Finding Your Purpose. So in reading his book, he has 3 questions that he has asked himself when he was quite young. I think he says in his early teens. So I will read this to you, the 3 questions that he asked himself. And I'll read this whole thing. When I was quite young in my early teens, I conceived the notion that in order to find my calling in life, I would have to answer 3 important questions. This is a guy who thinks a lot, even when he was really young, which I'm so glad he did, because figuring out how we think and the human condition and how we can rewire our brains and all of that, he was on it with the self-talk. So this is his self-talk, right? So he wrote out the 3 questions and thought about them a lot. These are important questions to him. It would take time before I found the answers to each of them, but I finally did. Here are the 3 questions I asked. The first question was, what? If I was going to do something of value, that would be the most important thing in my life. What would it be? The second question was, how? Only after I had answered the first question could I begin to find the answer to the question of how I would accomplish my goal and what preparation I would need. The third question was, when? If everything has its time, I wanted to be sure that my what and how were brought to life in the right time. Finding the answer to each of the 3 questions took several years, but it was my first real quest, and I felt it was an important one, so I stayed with it. I finally found my answers and I followed them. I'm following them still. But the important thing about the 3 questions was that asking them changed my life and played a role in directing almost everything I would ever do. Those 3 questions were my way of finding my purpose. Perhaps those same 3 questions will help you find yours. That is, what? What is of value that you would want to be doing? What would it be, the important thing in your life? And how? How would you accomplish that goal of the what? And when? How will that fall in place for you? So he wanted to make sure that his what and how were brought to life in the right time. For the when. For the win! For the when. So I hope that is really helpful to you. You know, the biggest thing is asking yourself questions. In my coaching, it's all about asking the right questions and then listening for the answers. Because when you ask yourself the right questions, we will always answer. Like, if you ask yourself a question, just you're there and you'll say your name and then say, what am I doing about my life? And then just be still. Guess what will happen? You'll start answering. And if you do that out loud, you'll really have a conversation. The conversations that I have with myself are probably the most valuable, gold-laden conversations. And many times I'll put my phone on and just listen to myself. I'll ask myself questions and then I'll listen for my answers. Because if I'm really honest with myself, I'll be very honest about my answers. And I trust myself to answer correctly and to ask myself the right questions. It's pretty cool. So let's read. Today is May 26th, day 147, 219 days left in 2024. We are today 40.16% complete with the year. You now have, if you've not yet found your purpose, you now have 60% of the year to find your purpose left. Okay, here is your passage for today. I see myself in my journey in the most positive possible way. I am learning, I am growing, and I am finding and living my reason for being. All of these, very precise, very empowering. and taking responsibility for your life, for finding your purpose and being all that you can be. I hope you enjoyed this today, and thank you for celebrating the 500 peeparoos that have subscribed to this channel. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And we're now at 502. We are growing. I love you so very, very mucho, and appreciate you more than you can ever know. And I really hope that you will find your purpose. And if you would like to really help yourself, then getting that self-talk app will really help you to rewire your brain. And then if you'd really like to up your game of living and moving yourself in the right direction much more quickly, I can help you to retrain help you to get rid of those old mental programs that are stopping you, that have stopped you in the past. And I can help you with a lot of foundational things with the right questions that will help you to move and create your goals, the right goals, and do everything you need to do in order to move yourself forward in the right direction. I love you so very, very mucho. I believe in you. You can do this. As always, shining my light to brighten yours. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.